by a crowd, and it just, you know, we made it. But I do remember the next week, I wasn't there, but pals of mine got surrounded and they got a right kicking, just for no other reason other than they were in the wrong area. But of course, like they said, that while they were curled up on the ground getting the kicking, these guys were like, "What religion are you? What religion are you? What religion?" Like, who cares? Like, that's why I hate religion now, you know. But so I never really liked crowds. But I remember going up to the Northwest 200, not to watch the races, but it was on the Friday night just to walk around all the bikes, and no one asked you what religion you were. Everyone was just there for the bikes, and you know, there was jokes and laughs. And this is what I found now with the bike rallies, that I'm so glad that I got into them over here, because I could probably count on the one hand the number of times anyone's ever really asked about what job you do or anything like that, because no one cares. The questions you do get asked is, what bike do you ride, you know. But it's unlike school or growing up where they want to see the latest fashion. You tell someone you ride like a 40-year-old Harley or whatever, they go, wow, like that. Or you see someone coming in an old bike and wow, you know, it's almost celebrated, like having stuff like that. The thing with going to these rallies is I go alone now because, you know, I'll tell you about it in another video, but where I'm going through a divorce at the minute. It's all friendly and things and that, but so I go to them alone, and I don't mind going alone because I've always been a loner, but B, you're never really alone at these rallies because you're surrounded by like-minded people. And you know, I think this as well, like if you looked at bikers, you know, and you didn't know, you see like the leather jackets, the tattoos, the beards and the rings and all this and that, and you probably, yeah, they're the nicest bunch of people that you're ever going to meet. And I genuinely mean that. I don't just say that because I'm one of them. They are. I mean, I've seen bikes that have gone over before, or a bike, I remember coming out of a rally once and one of the trikes had caught its back wheel and flipped upside down into the ditch. Like every biker that's was going past stopped, and we helped, and we didn't lift the lady out, but we all sort of kept her, comforted her until the ambulance arrived, and it was actually too many of us in the end. But I mean, I've stopped at the side of the road to, you know, sort out my cameras or whatever, and a bike stopped because he thought I'd broken down. That's the sort of people we are. I think like we're probably the biggest collection of individuals, you know. It's like a big worldwide family, you know, and it's just such a great thing to be a part of, you know. So the thing is with bikes, I find myself looking for places to go just so I can ride the bikes there, you know, whereas, as I said before, having a car, I wouldn't go, oh, fancy going there and jump in the car, because I know I'll be sat in traffic and that. And a lot of the time now, thanks to like sort of modern technology, when you put in your route, a lot of the time, particularly if it's a nice day, I'll avoid motorways, and it'll take you like along these nice little curvy roads through these little villages, places that you'd never known existed. But you do them for the ride, and you get there and enjoy it, you know. I think I was 10 years old. I was in my local scout group, and we'd gone for the weekend. So we'd gone from the town where we lived. It seemed like going to a foreign country, but it weren't. It was only like 50 mile or so. We'd gone across to County Fermanagh, where you had the lakes, Lough Erne. So we were there for a weekend doing like canoeing and stuff on the lakes. And on the Sunday morning, the plan was that as scout groups and local boys brigade and whatever do, they go to the remembrance service, because I remember it was November. So this was 1987. So we were going to get in our old minibus, stopping in Skillen, take part in a parade, lay a wreath, and then go back home after it. And so we got up on the Sunday morning, got all the stuff cleaned up, packed away early, and the minibus wouldn't start. It was this old, I remember it was this old minibus that the scout leader had, he worked for the railways, and it was like a railway bus. It was an old Bedford, if you remember them, bus. And the battery was flat, it wouldn't start. So I had to, I don't know whether they called someone or they got a jump start or whatever. Anyway, it made us late and we missed the parade. And it was only after we realised we weren't going to make it that we heard on the news in the van a massive bomb had gone off, and a lot of people were killed. And at the time it was just, I remember it was like a load of scouts just giggling and laughing, and suddenly they turned the radio up and everyone just sat in silence on the way home. You know, it was just like suddenly it was very, very close to home, troubles. And you don't realise at the time, but it actually it does something to you. You know, I sort of wonder, did it make me very realise that how the futility of life, something like that. You know, you're only 10 years old, and I don't know, like there was about 20 of us on that minibus, all squeezed in. I don't know what happened to the other lads that were there, or how their families dealt with it, but it weren't talked about. Like I said, we didn't do emotion in our families, and it was never really dealt with, you know, as in you were lucky, or you know, don't, you know. And it's only in later life when you sort of like think, I couldn't have made it this far. There's a good chance, you know, I would have been killed there, or and suddenly you think, well, actually, you know, you could get all morbid about it, but then you got to think of it like, well, actually, you don't know when your time's going to be up, do you? So you got to make as most of what you've got each day. And for me, that's riding motorcycles. You know, that's why I ride all year round. I ride in the rain and the cold and the wet. You know, I don't let the things like that bother me. Yeah, and I do think as well, like you know, people, you often hear people say, are you half empty person, or are you half full person? They're talking about like glass, is it half empty or half full? Are you positive or, you know, negative? People miss the whole point. Who cares? It's half empty, half full. The glass is refillable. You know, you drink it, you fill it. You know, it's I don't get that. You know, I wouldn't say I'm a pessimist or an optimist. I'm a realist. And this is the thing now about making videos and things. Like a lot of people go, oh, how many subscribers you got or anything. It's not about that for me. I mean, yeah, it's great to see people subscribing and liking and enjoying videos. I make them for myself. Because nowadays, like in the old days, you used to have like cameras where you'd like, you'd like something like 24 photos on each film, didn't you? And you had to be very selective. Now you can buy a GoPro, just video everything and then edit it later, and you've got a whole memory there. And when you upload it to YouTube, you've got free storage forever. Brilliant. If you actually realise like how the futility of life and how short and how fragile it is, then you actually enjoy it a lot more. You know, all these people, ambitions and drive and career minded. As long as I've got enough at the end of the month or the end of the week when I get paid to put some petrol in my tank, a couple of beers, have something nice to eat, have a roof over my head, I'm happy. I don't need more than that. The best part about riding, that's one of those things that unless you've actually ridden it, you can never really explain it to someone. I mean, I would definitely say that everyone in their life should go on a motorcycle And okay, if it's not, you can't ride one if you haven't got a license to ride one. Go on the pillion just for 20 minutes of that, and see how you enjoy it. When you're riding along and you feel the wind hitting you, you know, for me, like riding this motorcycles is probably one of the last pure remaining modes of transport. And here's the thing, right? So motorcycles now are like everything, have become so advanced. So like you've got ABS, you got cruise control, you got heated this, you got electronic this, you got this and you got that. And however, when it rains, you still get wet. Your technology ain't gonna help you. And it's the same goes like when you're riding, you're focused on the riding, you watching for the drain covers, you're watching for the potholes, you're watching for, you know, the white paint that you get on the road for the road markings. You want to avoid that because you know there's a little grip on that, so you're constantly focused on what you're doing. Whereas in a car, you're riding along, you're monging it, you got the radio on, you're, you know, thinking about work, you're thinking about that. Whereas motorcycles, you can't afford to do that. You're focused on what you're doing. I mean, I love it. It's like you forget like if you just where I used to work like as a firefighter, and I used to commute to work. It was a 25 mile there and 50 mile round journey, and it was a good job at the start. I was only there for a few years, but then a load of them decided to go on strike. I mean, why go on strike for what? Like you got well paid and you got to sleep at nights, but because a lot of them, they weren't very intelligent, the union sort of led them down a path. All the union wanted to do was get them out and strike, and about half of them were in the union, the other half of us weren't. So the union got them out and strike. They're so childish. You go in there while they were on strike, they refused to talk to anybody. It wasn't part of the strike, you know. And then because I was quite vocal about it, they basically, I say, bullied me, but it wasn't like so much that physically square. They ignored me, they refused to speak to me. Went on for a year, and then went to put on my fire boots one day because we turned out for a exercise. Somebody pissed in my fire boots. You know what I mean? It's like, how childish is that? But anyway, it was like I stayed there for a year after this whole strike business. And you go in for a 12-hour shift and wouldn't talk to you. It didn't matter to me because I go in there, I get paid, and I've got the 25 mile ride home, I've got the 40-minute ride home on my bike. I forget all about it, you know. It's like getting on a bike to me is like resetting things. It's like doing a Control-Alt-Delete on your life. You know, a lot of people, they, you know, and that's what I was saying before, because I can't do, like, I was brought up that we didn't do emotion or talk about feelings, so stuff got bottled up, stuff never got dealt with, you know. And everyone needs an outlet, and some people have their outlet in the wrong things. They substance abuse, they turn to alcohol or drugs or things like that, or they get violent. My outlet for things is motorcycles, you know. I often, you know, get up on a day and just go out on a bike ride, take my little stove or my flask or whatever, just go out, find somewhere and just enjoy the day, you know. It doesn't so much like, you know, help you find answers or anything like that. It just helps you forget the questions. Yeah, it does. It just like is a reset for me. You see this a lot in other road users when you're riding past them. A lot of them, they don't look happy. They look angry or miserable or just fed up, you know. And I get that, you know, who wants to sit in a car? And that, but you particularly notice it when you're in traffic. So, but you always get this one idiot who deliberately moves to stop you going through. I don't get annoyed at that, you know. I just sit and laugh at them. And then when the traffic does start moving, I go along and I wave at them, and just scoom off, and it winds them up even more. I mean, okay, maybe a bit childish, but like, you wouldn't be like that if you were riding a motorcycle, you know. And you see people getting really, really angry at you. The fact that you've got more freedom than they have, you know, it's just childish. It just doesn't make any sense to me. But I don't, as I say, I don't get annoyed about it. It's just one of those things. Will I always be riding Harley Davidsons? No. I mean, some people go, oh, I'll never get rid of this bike, or I'll never get rid of that bike. Nothing lasts forever, you know. It doesn't matter what it is. I set up all sorts of bikes over the years, you know. I've never had a sports bike. I don't think I'd ever get one. I just, as I said, I don't really like them. For me, the cruisers and the classics are what I'm into. You know, Harleys, right? Yeah, okay. People give them a bad name because sometimes they're unreliable. I find the older ones, the more simple technology on them, the better they are, the easier they are to work on them. The new ones with all their computerized canvas, ECU, BCU, whatever they call it these days. Yeah, I don't know if I'd get another one of them because I like to tinker and I like to work on things, and I can't work on those. But then I think all bikes are going the same, whether you go BMW or Triumph or whatever. I don't know. At the minute, I quite enjoy the Harleys. At some point, because I do so many miles, the more miles you do, obviously things wear out, things need replacing. I don't know. I mean, I did consider getting a BMW, one of those R18s, but they're too expensive. When I got into bikes, it was because we couldn't afford cars. Now it's gone the other way. I don't know. I really like into the resurgent, like sort of retro style, like sort of almost like the 60s, like the Triumph Bonnevilles and the BSAs and things that are all making comebacks now. I don't know. I really don't know. I don't make plans out far in advance. I just see what happens. Because the thing is, you start making plans, you get ambitions, and then when you don't meet them, then it becomes like a failure or a disappointment. Whereas, just take life as it comes. Who knows what's around the corner? None of them are any good at the end of the day. Some are a bit better than others, but none of them are any good at the end of the day. They all break down, they all have their faults and their little quirks. That's just something though you learn to live with. And actually, I suppose if you look back, it's part of the adventure, isn't it? These little debacles and dramas. What will I do when I get too old to ride? Oh God, don't. I don't want to think about that. But seriously, in the last few years, both through work and then through rallies, I know two blokes in their late 70s who are still riding motorcycles. Okay, so yeah, if I'm lucky enough to have my health and my strength at that age, then hopefully I'll be riding motorcycles. I might not be sleeping in tents at that time, but we'll see. But again, I don't really think about that. There's a thing, people worry about getting old and stuff. Like, I don't see, why worry about something that you cannot control? It's like all these like beauty products, or people wearing wigs. As soon as I started losing my hair, I whacked it all off. Who cares? It's like everybody fights age, but age ain't lost a battle yet. So yeah, I hope to still be riding up until the day I do finally leave this earth. But who knows what'll happen? Maybe if I'm not like that, maybe I'll buy a camper van and go and live in it. I really don't know. I don't think like that. Yeah. But the thing with motorcycles is, you know, you take your car to get serviced, and you drive out again, and you think, oh, the car's running well. I service my own motorcycle, and I know that I've changed the oil in it, because when you're the first ride for the first bit, it feels so much more responsive. I remember giving the my Dyna, I did a proper big service on it. A lot of stuff I changed that didn't need changing, so I changed the spark plugs, but changed all the oils, and I changed the HT leads, the spark plug leads. Wow, that bike was like, whoa! It's like as if someone had like turbocharged it, because you're so in tune with your machine. Like I say, it's one of the few things that, like, I think are the last remaining bastions of transport that you can actually feel when things are running really well, and when they're not. Your bike becomes a part of you, you know. Yeah, you always get people of motorcycles are dangerous. Yeah, well, that's their choice, isn't it? They say it because they've never done it. It's like they don't know. It's like the fear of the unknown for them. Okay, yeah, if you put statistically, motorcycles probably are more dangerous, because if you're always going to come off second best, whether it's your fault or not, in an accident. But as I said, you make it you make it as dangerous as you want to make it for yourself. But saying motorcycles are too dangerous to actually, well, go back, sit in the house and watch afternoon TV. You know, motorcycles are dangerous. I just say, yeah, it's not for everyone. What's the point of arguing with somebody? All they want to do is just seek qualification for their statement. Whereas, why? I don't owe you anything. I don't have to explain why I ride motorcycles to somebody that doesn't ride motorcycles. You know. That's why that, you know, I think all bikers have a very much an affinity with each other. They see ourselves as a big family, because we've gone beyond that the fear of motorcycles into the enjoyment of motorcycles. Yeah. Yeah, motorcycles were the best thing to happen to me. They really were. You know, I would say motorcycles saved me. You know, they definitely did. You know, I always look back and I think of that 125 that my dad bought for me, and you know, maybe I missed out on a lot of things as a child because of the environment I was brought up in, with religion and, you know, very old-fashioned morals and things. But I'll forever be grateful for that 125 Yamaha that he bought for us. Yeah. I don't have kids, but if I did, I'd definitely be up for teaching them to ride motorcycles. Yeah. How'd it do? Is that alright? You could tell I was nervous because I kept reaching up to stroke my beard.